On today's episode of Undercover Boss, the president and CEO of True Value Hardware, a nearly 100-year-old company, goes undercover. By joining his employees in the front lines, this former FBI agent investigates what's really going on inside his company.
And are you kind of doing it on your own? Or?
Yeah, I am.
So financially, you're...
Oh, I am by myself.
Completely on your own?
I would, yeah. I don't expect my parents to pay for anything.
But how will he deal when he's faced with an employee that is way out of line?
That he was going to do something that would require me to take immediate action.
Find everything all right, yeah?
Thank you.
Looking right, looking tight.
Tune in to find out on this episode of Undercover Boss. Headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, True Value is one of the world's largest hardware stores with more than 4,500 independent retail locations across 58 countries and $2 billion in revenue. Leading this all-American business is President and CEO John Hartman.
My name is John Hartman, and I'm the president and CEO of True Value.
In True Value, they sell anything from a lawnmower to electrical plumbing equipment, and the company was founded by a man called John Cater who only had one store. And over the years, True Value had grown to the giant that they are today. In the last 25 years, big box stores have come into the business and hurt the individual stores pretty hard. This is why John joined the company in 2013, and since then, he'd grown the company and saved it from bankruptcy. John grew up in a modest family and worked his way into paying for college and being the first one in his family to do so. And just as he graduated, he was approached with 2 FBI agents that recruited him to the organization. And after 10 years of serving his country, he resigned and joined the corporate world. He worked for Home Depot for 9 years, and after acquiring management skills, he became the CEO of a successful company named MAGA before finally joining True Value. John is changing the company and making it successful, but there's still a long way to go in order to beat out the box stores, so he wants to go undercover to see what his stores are missing and what they can improve on. He'll be going undercover as Lewis, a contestant on a reality show, competing to win $250,000.
I'm going undercover as Louis Lopresti, an older handyman who is the subject of a reality show where he can win $250,000.
For his first job, he travels to Boston, Massachusetts to work as a sales associate.
I'm here in Boston, Massachusetts, and today I'll be working with a sales associate.
He meets up with Brad, and as soon as they meet, Brad says that he'll show him how his typical day goes, and tells him that it will include smoking cigarettes and flirting with the female customers. John is taken aback by what he heard, and the only words that he said were, "What?"
We're gonna smoke some cigarettes. We're gonna flirt with some women. We're gonna sell some...
I'm sorry, we're gonna do what?
But he thought that he might be joking, so he lets it go. He then takes him on a tour of the store and then tells him that it's great that there's somebody that will do his job for him for the day, and he instructs him on how to do his job.
No, actually, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do.
That's fine.
You know, it's a blessing that I have someone to do my work for me today.
And still keeps talking about how he will get the numbers of cute women that will come into the stores. Shortly after, a female customer comes in, and John sees Brad as a great salesman, as he was professional and was very helpful to the women.
Maybe like a value pack set would help.
Okay, great. Thank you for your help.
Well, good luck with that. Any other questions?
That's it.
John is now confused as Brad has not hit on the woman, and he goes on to think that he was just a talker. But things change quickly as Brad talks and says that the woman wasn't into him, and says that he gives his business number to single women, and when they have hardware issues they can call him, and he would go to their homes after hours and show them that he's available.
When Brad made those comments, I couldn't believe what I heard. I felt immediately that that was inappropriate.
Brad then tries to hit on another woman in the store and makes an inappropriate comment on her back. This makes John very angry as it's highly unprofessional and can be considered as harassment.
He talks about womanizing in the store. You know, that kind of behavior is unacceptable.
The rest of the day, John keeps his cool and just puts an eye out on Brad as he didn't want to be forced to blow his cover. The next day, he travels to Springfield, Oregon to work in a distribution center.
Today I'm at one of True Value's 13 distribution centers in Springfield, Oregon, and I'll be working with an inbound stocking and receiving associate.
And he meets up with Terrell, and he teaches him how to scan and stock products.
Right here, BF39OB is going to be our location. So we're going to take all of that to our location.
And after learning how to scan the boxes, he then goes on a forklift and drives it to a specific slot. John is slow on driving a forklift.
Has to get his speed up. Just because you're old does not mean you got an excuse or a pass to go slow.
But for his first time, he does pretty well. Later, he learns that Terrell's life went bad after his father was killed, but since then he's turned his life around, and now he wants to study criminal justice and fix the issues inside the system.
Go back to school.
What would you take?
I would do criminal justice, juvenile criminal justice.
Really?
Yeah.
For his next job, he travels to Pittsfield, Massachusetts to work under the manager.
I'm working today in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, at Car Hardware with a front-end manager.
And he meets up with Chris, who's enthusiastic to teach him how the store runs.
Knowing your store like the back of your hand is prime customer service.
Okay.
We try to cover every basic, basically.
He first shows him around and then shows him how to treat the customers. John sees how well Chris knows the products, and he also notices that he has a great relationship with the customers. Later, while helping him do other tasks in the store, he learns that Chris is very ambitious and one day plans to get on top.
Energy, passion. He's very knowledgeable. He knows his customers. He's exactly the kind of associate we need to stay.
And for his last job, he travels to Illinois to work as a cashier.
Today I'm at the Glenview True Value Hardware store to work with a cashier.
He meets up with Lexi, and she teaches him how to operate the cash register.
You would hit the plus sign here. And then obviously if they're paying cash, you want to populate the cash field, check.
And he then tries to do the job, and although he starts well, his nerves get to him and he starts struggling, and the customer line keeps getting longer. But Lexi helps him and he manages to finish the rush time, and she tells him that he was lucky today as the system crashes frequently and disrupts their work immensely. John was quite surprised to hear this, and he plans to fix this problem.
Lexi talked about the register crashing from time to time, so I really want to understand exactly what that means and how often that happens.
The two then go outside and organize the gardening products, and while doing that, he learns that Lexi wants to be a nurse as she loves working with people, and she's working to help her pay very high student loan debt.
Myself through college and law school, I worked a lot of part-time jobs to do that, and I can absolutely relate to Lexi. She's just really impressive.
John's undercover time has now come to an end, and he's met some great, not so great employees, but he's invited all of them to reveal his true identity. First in was Brad, and he reminds him of what he said to him right as they met and confronts him about his inappropriate behavior. He tells him that he was close on blowing his cover and firing him on the spot, but when he saw how great he was on his job, he didn't want to give up on him and wanted to give him a second chance. He then goes on to tell him that he wants to see the Brad that was respectful with the customers and worked really hard, so he offers to mentor him for the next year to help him become a better version of himself. And Brad accepts the offer and promises to do better.
You know, this has been the wake-up call that I need to take direction, and luckily, he's given me an opportunity to do that.
Next in was Chris, and he tells him that he was a great manager and gives him $5,000 for a family vacation, then gives him $10,000 for his daughter's education, and another $25,000 to pay off his mortgage.
John took a lot of weight off my shoulders. I get to fulfill a dream of going to Disneyland with my daughter. It's just amazing. It's real.
Next in was Terrell. He commends him on picking himself up after having a tough life and becoming a great person and employee, and then gives him $12,000 to pay off his debt, and another $10,000 so he can go to college, and another $20,000 so he can get a new car.
I'm too excited right now. Like, I just want to go outside and just give somebody a hug.
Last in was Lexi, and he tells her that she was a great employee and a great teacher, and then gives her $5,000 to pay for her rent, and he offers to pay off her student loans that's worth $50,000, and goes on to give her an additional $10,000 so she can finish school.
So today I'm going to give you $10,000 to pursue that education.
No way.
In the weeks since, after starting his mentorship with John, Brad took time off to join a Habitat for Humanity project. Chris is busy with planning the perfect family vacation, Terrell is shopping for a new car and plans to go to school, and Lexi is now free of debt and she's focused on school and her future. And that is how today's episode of Undercover Boss wraps up.